So today we're going to be talking about ratios. So this is your introduction to ratios. You were starting unit 2 of your curriculum. So the ratios, all it is a comparison of two quantities. So for example, an example of ratio is when you're comparing, say you have a number of teachers to students. So right now with what we're going through, there is 15 students per teacher. So that's a ratio because you're comparing the number of students and the number of teachers. Now ratios can be compared in part to part or part to whole. So we could say the number of teachers to the number of students, so that's part to part. But when I say the number of teachers to the total number of students, then that would be part to whole. So when we have this, make sure that you understand that it's just ratios is just a comparison of two quantities, and you can compare them as part to part and part to whole. Now, when we're comparing ratios as part to whole, it's kind of like a fraction because you're looking at what part is shaded in to what the whole part it is. But in this case, they're separate things. So say, for instance, if I give you like 2 red circles and then 3 yellow circles, I could compare these ratios with red to yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and put red to yellow. So that'll be 2 to 3. But if that's going to be a part to part comparison. If I put red to all, that's going to be 2 to 5. And this 2 to 5 is going to be a part to whole. So if I were to actually draw this as little rectangles, then that would be your fraction. So this would be a fraction when it's shaded in this way, and they're asking for the red shaded in. So we still write them as fractions. Ratios, we write them as fractions and we solve them as fractions, but ratios are not always fractions. Just make sure you understand that. So what we're going to do is we're going to write ratios when we're looking at different items. So remember, ratios is a comparison of two quantities. So here we have 3 ways to write a ratio, and we could write it with a colon, which is the 2 dots in the middle. So that's with the colon. In words, so it'll be A to B, and then as a fraction, A over B. And then we're going to identify if this is a part to part or part to whole comparison. So let's start with the first one. It said red to blue. So we have red. So we have 3 red. And I'm going to put the colon. And blue, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 3 to 9. So that would be red to blue. Now, I wrote it with a colon, but you could write it as 3 to 9. And you could also write it as 3 over 9. And because this is the color to color, then that's going to be a part to part. So let's look at the next one. The next one is purple to red. So I know red is 3, so I'm going to put the 3 afterwards, because whenever you're giving a ratio, you have to follow the direction or the same way that it tells you. So purple would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So purple will be 6 to 3. You cannot write 3 to 6 because then you're comparing red to purple. So it has to be purple to red. So we said purple to red. So that's what your answer is going to be, 6 to 3. So you're going to write it as 6 to 3 or 6 over 3. And then this again is color to color. So it's going to be part to part, sorry. Now the next one says blue to all. So when they're saying all or whole or all shapes or all colors or all that, that's what it means when it is going to be part to whole. So we have blue, we have 9, and to all, well, we have 3 plus, well, how many blue were there? 9 plus 6. So 3 plus 9 is 12, plus 6 is 18, so that's going to be 9 to 18. And again, you write it with the word to, 9 to 18, and as a fraction, 9 to 18. Now, when you're comparing ratios, you could simplify them too, but right now we're just trying to write ratios. Also, ratios they don't have improper fractions. So if you notice this one right here has 6 over 2 over 3, that's not an improper fraction, that's just a ratio. So that's the difference between a ratio and a fraction. So let's do the last one. So the last one has blue to purple. So they were 9 blue and 6 purple. So 9 to 6, 9 to 6, and 9 to 6. And if you notice, I am reading the ratio the way we usually read it. I'm not saying 9/6 or 9/18 or 6/3. I'm saying as 9 to 6. So make sure that your ratios are read differently. And because it's color to color, it's going to be part to part. Okay, so this is how you write ratios 3 ways, and this is how you tell if what type of comparison it is, if it's part to part or part to whole. Now, one thing I want you to remember, and it's this note right here, because that's going to be in your assignment. So remember, the circles are purple. So if you are able to answer that, then you get points towards your assignment. So remember, the circles are purple. So this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Go to Schoology and complete your practice. Good luck.